Hey guys, how's it going? It's Kyle here with another Exos Heroes video. I'm excited for this new banner that is coming through. Before we begin, I would really appreciate it if we could get a like on this video. It really helps out the channel. It's by far the best way to support the channel. And so let's get into the new banner here. It's the Choice Fate Core Re for the Awaken faction. This is going to be awesome, I think, for a lot of people. Now how the meta is progressing with the additions in the Fate Core memory of Rachel and Shufraken being added, and then in combination with Baraka also being on there as well. It's really opened up the meta for Rachel teams and Shufraken teams to kind of come back and be really strong. So this is going to be a really good opportunity based on which team you went for. If you're already Greenland, then maybe this is going to be something you want to pass on. But if you're really trying to build up the Rachel faction or the Shufraken one, this is going to be a really good opportunity to start pulling. Because if you're going to pull for one of these characters, absolutely only go if you're going to go all the way to pity, because we're trying to get as many of these as possible for Signature Force and for Fusion, depending on where you're at in the game. I think this is a really good time to pull. I currently have a little under 15k. I'm going to totally pull for Rachel. That's who I'm going for this. I'll kind of show you where I'm at currently, why I'm going for him. It's just, I think there's a lot of opportunity with this Rachel combo in tag team. I've played a few matches and I think it's really strong, because I don't have much investment in Xeon, and every time I get someone with Dishearten, and you get the combination with the April passive here, so it's fan service. Dishearten front row enemies receive 40% increased damage, and all damage against the targets are applied as piercing damage. I've just noticed that even a very low amount of resources, like no awakening and also no unleashed potential, and he's hitting like an absolute truck, getting a ton of resets. If I really invest in these characters, I really think this has a lot of potential to be another really good team. At worst case scenario, it's going to be good second team for tag team, and then potentially some other PvE content here in now and in the future. But I think this could also really compete for that first place spot here in PvP as it stands nowadays. A lot of people don't have these guys invested in. It takes a lot of resources and a lot of time, regardless if you're a whale, if you're free to play, light spender, to be able to invest in one of these guys because of all the solar seals it takes. That's probably why you might not see that many of them, but I really do think that this is a good faction to invest in. Same with Shufrakens, and having the core memory, it's going to allow him to actually be able to apply both of these characters. Their attack or defense really matters when it comes to applying their passive, and without the core memory, impossible to really evaluate these guys as a competitive faction. But now that it exists and you can really boost up their defense or boost up the attack, in Rachel's case, they could really fight for one of the top spots. And if you're really invested, or you just so happen to be pulling a ton of Shufrakens and you have a lot of Signature Force in Northbound Frosty, then maybe it's worth going with Shufraken. I think both of these guys are going to be totally worth pulling for. I'm personally going to be going for Rachel. Kind of want to put into perspective just how many of these general characters we're going to need to pull. We have the core memory. So if you want to actually get the higher amounts of core memory, either 1 fuse or 3 fuse, that alone right there is up to 6 Rachels or Shufrakens that you're going to need for something like this. Then if you look at Signature Force, the big thing here, it takes 4 here, and you need to be transcended once, so it takes 6 total to get to here. Then to even be able to place another Rachel in here, you're going to need to transcend him again, so transcend 2, so this could be 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Then you're going to need to transcend again, so 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, then transcend again, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. It's going to take 21 to finish it out, based on how much this is probably going all the way up to, in the future, it's going to go up to 5. So you need to transcend them again and get 4 more. You can't get enough of these characters. And I know this is a long grind and stuff like that, but just putting into perspective that you should never feel bad pulling for a general character, because it's just, the amount of them is just going to be so much. And it's actually really impactful. And it's not only impactful just on the one character, but the whole faction, the whole nation as a total, especially when you start to hit things like this, where you hit in 2-4 here, this one where it impacts the entire faction here. So I think that's a really big deal. And then what I like to do as well is here, I'll just go to Rachel here and see how I only have one of these guys, because what I'll do is I'll unequip the Fate Core and just save it and then put it into Signature Force. The only one that I actually fused was a blue fake core because this is going to affect everyone and I don't need to wear it. Because I think this version of Rachel is actually worse. So the Awakened version, this is the one you're going to want to use. But I fuse this one because you get a lot of good benefits. Like look, for fusing, look at this. 20% HP on all people from his faction. And then you can see all the characters that this is impacting here. It's massive. So 20% HP, 5% defense, and 2% attack. So I got a kind of low roll of the attack, but who cares? There's a lot of good characters here that are being impacted by just a blue fake core. So that's why out of all the ones I'm going to fuse the blue fake core. So when it comes to this one in particular, I think it's going to be worth it to transcend and go as far as you can into Signature Force, especially for this one, unless you're the only one that can actually go for either the 3 or the 5 fuse. Then you might want to do your core memory, and I'm sure your friends or people that you have an alliance with and the people at your guild are really going to appreciate you for doing that. But I think most people, you're going to want to just put stuff into Signature Force. Characters that it's going to impact really that you're going to use is going to be April, Rachel, Baraka, some other people that are okay, but nothing too crazy. You know, Xeon, obviously. Colin's really good. Morris is good. That's about it from this faction. And then these guys down here, in case you ever need like the commons for like side story or something like that. That's about it so far when it comes to these guys. And I'm sure there's niche case scenarios that people would point out in the comments. And then let's look at Northfront Frosty, just to get an idea of it. Because I believe Northfront Frosty has a better overall faction. But I do prefer Rachel's team is only if you have April. I think a big thing that I need to point out is that I would only go for Rachel's team if you ended up pulling FC April. It's a major deal, and if you're going to go for Rachel, definitely only do it for FC April. And then for Shufraken, he's kind of easier to splash in. I would prefer to have Valentina, and also I think it'd be good to have Fake Core Ramj, the first Guardian version of Ramj. I think those are going to be really important to really go in for Shufraken. But I think FC April, out of all of those kind of secondary characters, is way more important than the other ones. Because you could splash in a lot of good characters with a Shufraken team and have it work out. So we have Ramj, we have Iris, Brooke, Anastasia, Valentina, Shufraken, Corgi, Bernadette, the new character here that is the Silver Fake Core that everyone has, Monica even, Digos, Lepin. There's just so many more general characters you're going to get with Northfront Frosty than you are with Rachel's version of this. If it's just, you're just going to narrow it down to the team, I think Rachel's is better. That's pretty much it when it comes to this guy. So that's pretty much it when it comes to this banner that's coming through. Other things to consider is we do have like the rumored black and white picture that has come through. I'll probably I'll show it right here when I find it. That potentially could be a new banner. There could be a lot of really meta changing units coming through there, but we have no guarantees of what that's going to be. We're not 100% sure. Maybe it's going to be like FC Iris level game changing. Never know, could just be pretty good. If you're really wanting to be cautious, always save your zest for the obvious meta changing unit. This is going to be a really good opportunity, and I think this is going to cover a wide range of people because it's 2 generals we get to choose from, and they're good ones. Probably for most people, this is going to be a time to pull. And I know I am. I'll definitely make a video on me dropping all the zests going for Rachel here on Thursday. Good luck in your pulls. If you guys go for them, let me know in the comments if you actually are going to pull. And with that, I am out. Peace.